are focusing to the two type of dimension, personal and environmental dimension. So if you don't consider the scene that contains small group communication aspect, then later you'll be having a problem to deal with the analysis according to this two dimension. You might find that you don't have this element, you don't have this element, and so on. This is due to the scenes itself, because we don't have the concept. You cannot find the concept of small group communications there. But so far, I think, so far no problem. Yeah, everyone clear with this. And I think for this week or today, it's in progress regarding your movie scenes analysis. And we don't have specific format for that. Some group, they ask me, PM me, about the format. Actually, we don't have format. No specific format. As long as you explain in detail, you justify, you describe the element related to the scenes, then would be good enough. All right. So it depends on your creativity, depend on the group creativity, on how they are going to present their report. Okay. So we don't have specific format. Yeah. In case some people still figuring out this kind of element. So we don't have specific format. And then for the presentations, yeah, presentation as usual, time for presentation is still same, 20 to 25 minutes. If you're able to make it within 20 minutes, it would be good. And make sure that every group members participate or given equal time to conduct the presentation or describe the element. And make sure that everyone speak, because going back to the basics, each one of you will be assessed individually. All right, so don't rely to your friend to explain this part, and that part. Make sure that you also contribute to the presentation part, because you will be assessed individually. And the percentage for the presentation is still same compared to the previous group presentation. It's also 20% for the individual presentation, and 5% goes to your report. All right. So when you do the analysis, everyone, explain in detail, right? Explain in detail. I think I've highlighted this before. The name itself is analysis. So when you do analysis, you have to explain in detail, justify why this kind of thing happened, because of what, the reason behind that. Okay. And later, also everyone, for this week, you can start to share your movie scenes that you select for the analysis. You can share that in our WhatsApp group. Put down or write down your group number or group name, and then put the scenes there, so that other group or other people, they can watch first the scene, for about 3 to 4 minutes, so that they know what are the elements that you're going to present according to your analysis of the scenes. At least they can see that first. They know later in your presentation you are approaching this kind of element. All right. So you can start to share later. All right. As soon as possible also will be good. So we have 6 group. Hopefully after this, we can see the 6 scenes in our WhatsApp group, so that everyone can watch that at the first place. Okay. And once you finish with your once we finish with our presentation next week, we are going to focus to our quiz 2. Okay. And before I forget, regarding the quiz 2, everyone, inshallah later, maybe today or earlier tomorrow, I will share with you the sample of quiz 2 in our online learning, right? So that is according to the previous semester question. So you can start, or you can try to do You can try to make it as part of the practice. Try to answer the question. So you can look at the structure of the question, the the sample. Hopefully it help you to see clearly. Oh, the question would be something like this, the format. All right, I share with you. In case you cannot find the attachment at online learning tomorrow at least, please let me know. Right, in case I miss that, I miss to share that item. All right, in case, but I try to make it as soon as possible by today after my third class, after 3, inshallah. All right, but I'm focusing to the class first today. Okay, for your movie scenes analysis task, any question before we continue with the following part of the discussion of the chapter? Any question? Just on your audio and say something. Any question, anyone, about the movie scenes analysis?
Clear, medium.
So, okay, thank you for the response just now. So everyone, if you realize, we are close to the end of the discussion of the chapters from the module, right? Because overall we have 8 chapters, right? 8 chapters in the module and 8 chapters for the class discussion. For the first 4 chapters, chapter 1 to 4, it's covered by quiz 1. And then for quiz 2, another 4 chapters that are going to be covered in quiz 2, which is chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right? So we are about to be close with the end part of the discussion of the chapters from the module. Right? So I hope that you don't wait until the last minute to read those chapters that are going to be covered in the quiz 2, because to read and to understand 4 chapters at least a day before the quiz, it's going to be a heavy kind of thing to be digested, to be understood. So please start as soon as possible to study the chapter, right? Just my suggestion for all of you. But it depends. Some people, they have the ability, what we call, the way they study might be different from others. They're able to read, understand, maybe few hours or few days before the class, or the quiz or the exam itself, because they might feel that that's the best technique for them. But it depends, right? Most important thing is you read, you understand, you able to respond to the questions given according to the chapter. Okay, everyone. Last time I share with you this document, Google form. right? In the form of Google form. Chapter 7, language for managing group conflict. So what is language for managing group conflict? So today when we discuss about chapter 7, I'll be referring to this form, right? Because basically I'll be referring to the slide, right? But while discussing this form, according to the list of questions, it's actually covered the element discussed in the chapter itself, right? So at the same time, we're referring to your response to the questions of the answer to the question, and hopefully you take note. This is the element covered in the chapter 7. Okay, inshallah, I'll be calling each one of you to explain, but no worry, it's not going to be twice. Um, I'm not going to call you for twice, right? Once I call you for the question, that's all. No hurry. I'm not going to call you for another section question. Hasif, Hasif, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Hasif is a lucky person because I called him for today's session, and it's just a general question for Hasif. Hasif, for chapter 7, language for managing group conflict. What you understand with this topic? I mean, in general. General.
Okay, for the topic, chapter 7, language for managing group conflict. In this topic, we can see how we need to manage or deal with the group conflict that occur in the team project, or maybe we can see different kind of conflict that happen in group, and then how we need to overcome that problem by doing the certain different negotiation style, how to we deal with that problem. So in this there are many uh, like negative group word that can affect the effective and efficient of the team project, and then there are so we need to how to we manage the group conflict. That's all from me.
Okay, thank you very much, Hasif.
Okay.
Yeah, from general, he go to a bit specific explanation regarding the question just now. Thank you so much for explaining to us. I hope that it gives you some idea to the rest of the class. What are the elements or what this chapter 7 is all about? Language for managing group conflict in this case referred to language use, or what kind of attitude, behavior, skill, method used by group members in terms of the leader of the group members, the subordinate, or the what we call the members in the group itself, how to deal or how to manage any conflicts that emerge, any issues that emerge in the group discussion. It means that what are the ways, method, in terms of the language, the term used here in this topic. Language for managing group conflict. Don't get confused. If you refer to chapter 8, everyone, it also relate with the, let me show you this one. Later, inshallah, maybe I try to cover chapter 8. But if we can't make it today, I try to find a day which is on week 14, our Monday class or Sunday class to discuss about chapter 8. Inshallah, we'll cover the whole chapters. We try to complete everything. For chapter 8, everyone, it's a language for managing diversity and relational trust. For chapter 7, it's a language for managing group conflict. This one is language for managing diversity and relational trust. I'm highlighting this because, of course, in quiz 2, there will be a questions about both chapters, right? So some student, when they respond to the question, according to chapter 7, chapter 8, some of them sometimes they give different answer. Let's say the question is regarding chapter 7, but they give answer according chapter 8. Uh, I mean, the answer is, if we check the given or the response according to the answer by the student, it's a good explanation, good item, elaborated well, good point. However, it does not relate at all with the question given. And I believe in this case, the student miss or confused, right? Confused between the question regarding the language for managing group conflict and language for managing diversity and relational trust. Of course, the question is not going to ask you what are the methods in terms of chapter 7 language for managing group conflicts. And of course, there will not be a direct kind of question like what are the elements that refer to language for managing diversity and relational trust. Of course, there must be a statement or question that vary from the statement of the topic but still relate with the topic. So in this case, I think the student confused with the element discussed in chapter 7 and chapter 8 because it's like they understand it as when they refer to the word language in this topic or the title. So of course they miss the marks, right? We cannot give the mark because it does not relate at all with the question given, but it's a good point and it's good elaboration of that point. So in this case, I just want to highlight that when you read or when you study chapter 8 and 7, then make sure that you can see the difference between language for managing group conflict and language for managing diversity and relational trust. So today we focus uh, regarding the language for managing group conflict only, right? And from the module chapter 7, yeah, you focus on this element, right? You focus on this element for the chapter 7, this sub point or this subtopic. You focus on this element according to your module. So the thing that among of the thing that you need to know is the first subtopic from this chapter is factors influencing group conflict, right? What are the factors that influence the group conflicts? And then you need to understand what is the meaning of group thing, the terms, yeah? And then the third subtopic, you need to understand the conflict resolution negotiating styles, because our main concern here is language for managing group conflicts. So of course, you need to understand first what is the group conflict and what are the elements that influence the group conflicts. After that, groupthink. Groupthink is like one of the methods or one of the ways to deal with this group conflicts. And then we have several ways or methods, um, or we refer this as negotiating styles. Among of them are avoiding, accommodating, collaborating, and competing. So again, yeah, everyone, what I'm going to highlight here is when you study for the chapter, you check your course outline. You might find that some of the subtopics from the module are not um, included or not covered in your quiz. This is due to we have the course outline highlighting what are the components covered in the assessment and what not. But still, those kind of subtopic in the module presented in the module, even though they are not covered in the quiz, this is due to elaboration, additional informations about the topics and so on. So to read textbook, at the same time, you need to go back to our course outline. That's why every course we have course outline. This one, every course we have course outline. Some people, they just focus to the textbook for their reference regarding the class. It's good actually. You read, you understand. But you need to go back to the guideline. Why we have the course? So regarding that, you need to know the scope of the discussion according to the assessment. So refer to this every time you read the component that are going to be covered in the quiz. Okay, so you might find there will be some subtopic covered in the module according to the chapter that not covered in this course outline. This means that only this will be covered in your quiz. There will be tendency from any kind of question from the quiz relate to this element. If we don't highlight that subtopic here, means it's not going to be covered in your quiz 2, for example. Because if you compare with the chapter right now, for example, okay, first, of course, we can find the factors influencing group conflict. Yes, you need to know about this. We have two major factors that influence the conflicts or group conflicts. The first is differences in propensity to take risk. And then another factor is differences in professional consciousness states. Okay, and for each of these uh, differences in professional consciousness states, you need to know each of the term highlighted here. Burnout, young hawk, old buffalo, company loyalists. This is according to the attitude or behavior for each of the member. So we use the terms, yeah, cynic, right? Here you can see a person who has cynical state. It refers to the behavior or the attitude or how the person react to the group discussion or small group concept. And then negative predisposition towards group work. If you check this with the course outline, we don't cover this one, right? We don't cover the negative predisposition toward group works. This is what I mean just now. When you read the module, for the sake of understanding your quiz 2, or for the sake of preparing you for your quiz, for example, you can skip some of the subtopic from the module, and how to skip that, refer to this list. All right, but if you read the whole part of the chapter, of course, good, it will be better. But now I'm talking about to prepare you for the quiz. In case you find that it's time constraint for you to cover or to read the whole part of the chapter, you might um, not have much time to do that. You check the course outline. And then grouping, yes, we have grouping here. Yes, you need to know, or you need to understand the grouping, the concept. Okay, and then we have the conflict resolution, negotiating. styles, right? So this one, for conflict resolution negotiating style, we have avoiding, accommodating, collaborating, competing. A good textbook, basically, it will give you additional info. It might give you some additional style in case, for example, right? Additional style, additional method according to the point. But again, going back to the module course outline, if it highlight here 4 method or style, you just focus to this 4 style. Okay. Same goes to your quiz. I'm sorry, chapter 8 letter. Right. So check. Okay, everyone. Okay. So going back to this Google form, right? Just now I did call Hasif for highlighting, or asking his understanding according to chapter 7. What does it relate to, or what chapter 7 is all about? Language for managing group conflict. So once again, yeah, don't get confused between chapter 7 and chapter 8. Both, it's about language or method or ways to manage a certain element of group discussion. But of course, it differed in terms of this one, chapter 7, language for managing group conflict, while number 8, language for managing diversity and relational trust. These are the two things, or two two major different according to the same ways, same method of explanation. Okay, thank you, Hasif. Now let's continue with the question. All right. So the following question, or the first question, organizational culture can influence risk-taking behavior in groups. Anyone would like to respond to this question? Open. If you answer this, uh, so you don't need to cover for the following question in the form. One person, one question only. Anyone would like to try this one?
True.
Yes, Mazida. Or Nurul Izzah? Which one?
Azida.
Okay, Mazida. Mazida, can you speak louder, please? I can hear you, but it's not too clear.
Hello?
Yeah, Mazida, I can hear you.
The answer is true.
Okay, organizational culture can influence risk-taking behavior in groups, and the answer given by Mazida is true. Mazida, of course there must be a reason why you choose true instead of false for this statement. Can I know why?
Because organizational culture
Yes, Mazida, please continue. Maybe you want to give example.
risk-taking behavior because of how they think. Because how they think will affect the risk-taking of the each group, of the each people in the group.
Okay, so your answer is true, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mazida. But we're not done with the question yet. Thank you, Mazida. Anyone here can explain what is organizational culture? What we refer to as organizational culture? You can give example, you can explain, no problem. As long as we get some idea according to the term of organizational culture. Anyone? Hello, anyone?
Madam,
Yes, yes.
organization culture is the collection of values, expectations, practices that guide and inform the actions of a person.
Okay. Thank you very much, Teo Jiayi.
Thank you, Madam.
Okay. Um, uh, you also can type it on the chat box. Maybe people can refer that later. Thank you once again, Teo Jiayi. All right. Organizational culture, as highlighted by Jiayi just now, it referred to the organization's belief or their values according to the uh, objective or the discussions of the group members. So in this case, organizational culture, disregarding the communications, the value, belief shared by every group members in the company, for example. So organizational culture can influence risk-taking behavior in the groups, right? If you work or if you're working in a group discussion, let's say, if you are discussing on a certain method, of course, we cannot deny that the belief, the way you communicate, values that every group member share in the group will affect the way you um, do the way you identify you come up with the decisions of the task discussed. And that's why here it refer to risk-taking behavior. What is risk-taking behavior? Anyone? Risk-taking behavior, the term.
Yes,
Yes, Jian, how?
opinion, risk-taking behavior is the members in the group tend to take the risk on. If the group members have high risk-taking behaviors, then they will tend to take the risk, and rather than with low risk-taking behavior, try to avoid the risk during the discussion.
Okay, so thank you very much, Jian, how risk-taking behavior, risk-taking decision, you know, decisions that ask or need contribution from all group members to come to a decisions of the task. So of course it leave a different impact to each one of the group members. So that's a risk-taking behavior in groups. So if you understand the statement, then the answer would be true, right? Would be true. Organizational culture can influence risk-taking behavior in groups. All right, the answer would be true. All right, of course, this element will affect this element of risk-taking behavior. Thank you. Next, CR talk is not common in small groups. Anyone, what is CR talk? CR is a short form, stand form. CR talk. What is CR talk?
Madam,
Yes.
CR talk is the consciousness raising.
Okay, consciousness raising talk. Okay, thank you. Anyone would like to describe what is consciousness raising talk? Of course, before you respond to the answer, respond to the statement or the question given, you have to understand the term, right? As the basis. The thing is whether you understand this or no, or you just simply pick the answer. That's the thing. So you need to know first what is CR talk or consciousness raising talk. Because here the statement is consciousness raising talk is not common in small groups, right? So how you describe consciousness raising talk? Actually, last time when we discussed about chapter 2, there is an element of consciousness raising talk according to the chapter, which what I'm going to highlight here is that need to be everyone should be clear with that consciousness raising talk. Even last time in quiz 1, there is a question about consciousness raising talk regarding the multiple choice question, if you still remember. So what is consciousness raising talk? Anyone would like to try?
Madam, I would like to try.
Okay, yes. Okay, go
Um,
ahead.
it is like a group motivational talk.
Okay, group motivational talk.
Mm.
Okay, consciousness raising talk. You can also relate it to the motivational talk. All right. Anyone would like to give example? Any program or any activity that relate with consciousness raising talk or the motivational talk just now. When you check chapter 2, everyone, when you refer to chapter 2, there is a visualization when you start chapter 2. The map, you can see one of the component in the map or one of the element highlighted in the visualization of roadmap process is the CR talk. So there's a question also. I still remember that there's a question of CR talk in our multiple choice question last time. So what you understand with CR talk other than motivational talk highlighted by your friend just now? The answer should be true, because CR talk can happen within whether it's small group communication process or group communication process. Here we refer to small group because we are referring to the quantity of group members, right? So whether it's a big or small group communication process, this CR talk will happen or will realize in. So communication, consciousness raising talk is a kind of communication process where for your group, after you go through several discussion process with your group members, you will take a break. You will take a break where you find that you need to deal with certain issues in your group discussion. Maybe there is a conflict among of your group members. There is issues among of your group members. So basically, you will apply this kind of consciousness raising talk among of your group members. It's like you're giving some time to deal with the conflict happen among of the group members. You will put aside the objective for the task of your group discussion. You will put aside just for a while. because you want to deal first with the conflict happen among of your group members. In other words, you take a break from the process of the discussion, because you will find that to deal or to solve problem among of your group members is very important, because if the conflict is still there, you are not able to achieve the objective of your group discussion. Like when you conduct the statement, problem solving task last time, you know what is the issue that you're going to cover. You pick the issues, topic that you're going to cover. But while discussing the ideas or solution for the issues itself, there is a conflict emerge among of your group members. So you don't focus to the main discussion. You put aside, you take a break for a while, you deal with your group members' conflict, because you want to settle that, you want to make it, you want to end the conflict among of group members. After everything good, you come back or you continue with the main objective of your group discussion. You continue the process. But here, you take a break just to deal with the issue or the conflict among of your group members. So how to deal with that? Maybe you speak with them, you explain to them what is our main focus right now. So you need to solve the problem among of you, go back to the more objective of our group discussion, so ask them to raise their motivation, or ask them to solve their conflict itself before we continue with the following part of the main discussion. So that is a CR talk, consciousness raising talk. If you read chapter 2, every chapter from the module is actually, it's a flow of the discussion. They relate to previous chapter for some time. So if you find that you're not sure or you're not clear with this type or this element of CR talk, you refer to chapter 2, look at the visualizations of the roadmap process, and you will find this element discussed there, right? Hopefully you can understand well, because of course this will be covered in your quiz later. So if you're not sure with, go back to the, for example, in this case, go back to chapter 2. All right, so CR happen, whether it's small or um, or group discussion itself, all right? For any type of group discussion, it's very important because you have the objective to be achieved. So for some time, conflict happen, normal. So you might be dealing with that kind of things. Or motivations of the group members is also important. So you have to highlight that for some time. Okay, so CR talk produces group pride and identity. What is your comment regarding this? You agree or you disagree? So that should be true or false. Anyway, if you understand the concept of CR talk, I believe it's going to be clear on how to deal with each of the statement just now.
Madam, can I answer?
Yes, yes.
The answer is true.
Okay, why you refer that as a true?
Since every discussion have conflict to solve, then how they manage to solve the conflicts is their identity.
Okay, thank you very much, Alif. Right? Yes, as we all know, consciousness raising talk, it happened for most of the time according to the group discussion. So of course, I can say that group 1, group 2, group 3, they have their own way how to deal with their group process, discussion process. How to deal with that, it depends on their group members. So of course, this give them value or identity of their their group process, right? So you can say that consciousness raising talk produces group pride and identity. So different group, different way how they deal with that issue of their group. Okay, let's continue with the following part. Creating a group consciousness for new members and raising the sustaining consciousness of all members do not provide continual sources of conflict. What is your answer regarding this? Can you find this from the module when you answer the question? Can you find this from the module?
Madam, can I try?
Yeah, sure.
The answer is false.
Okay. Or maybe you find this statement from your from the module, from the chapter.
Yes.
Okay. Because this is about yes or no, right? Yes or no. So basically for this kind of statement, you have to find the evidence before you say yes, no for the things. Right? Maybe Eric, you can share with us any part or any page refer to this statement.
You can refer to the module at the page of 134. Over there, the differences in professional consciousness state over there. Or the pages
134.
is refer to the module, not the refer to the PDF, the page
Okay. 130.
4.
Okay.
It should be in page of 133, 37 in the PDF file.
137. This one,
Yes.
right? Okay. Which paragraph? Maybe we can share this with our friend.
And the differences in professional consciousness states there over the row of 5 there.
Okay. This one start with however.
No, the down
In
one.
fact.
In fact there.
Okay. So for the statement just now, your answer give it as referred that as a false statement, right? False statement. This is due to, later you can read or recall, relate with this statement. In fact, creating a group consciousness for new members and raising the sustaining consciousness of all members provide continual sources of conflict. So this is an example. In US organization, experienced professional usually refer to 5 classic state of professional consciousness. This one, yeah, burnout, young hawk, old buffalo, company loyalist, and cynic. All right, this is quite direct statement that you can find this to respond to this statement. For this, I'm not going to use a question format. This is statement form, right? Creating a group consciousness for new members and raising the sustaining consciousness of old members do not provide continual sources of conflict, but it contrasts with the statement just now. It does provide continual sources of conflicts, right? Even if we refer to the logic or the relevant according to the issue, we know that, of course, there must be different approach for the new members and the old members. But still, for some time, it just can't be according to the relevant or the logic of our thought according to the things. So you go back to the chapters according to that. So, all right. So the answer is false, right? Because it does provide continual sources of conflict. Okay. All right. Next question. Inshallah, I try to finish this. Because if you look at this question, each of the question is actually covered the chapter itself. We might not discuss according to the slide, but this one is already highlight the main thing that you need to know about chapter 7. Okay, a person who is company loyalist do not represent a kind of ideal state of professional contentment in a group. So according to this statement, true or false? Anyone would like to try? Anyone?
Then can I try?
Yeah, sure.
The answer is false.
The answer is false. Who's speaking just now?
Me, Nodiana.
Anodiana Ismail. All right. A person who is company loyalist. So what is company loyalist, everyone? Basically, we refer to this term, company loyalist, basically, in terms of the seniority, in terms of the years of working at the company, in terms of persons that relate with the objective of the task given. Most of the time it refer to the seniority, the element of seniority or the years of experience relating to the task or job in the group discussion of the company, for example. So a person who is company loyalist do not represent kind of ideal state of professional contentment in the group. What is professional contentment, everyone? Professional contentment. Diana, can you find the statement from any part or any page from the chapter just now?
In the module, page 135.
135, according to this number, right?
In the PDF, yes.
Okay, this part, page, sorry. Which paragraph, Diana?
Paragraph 2, line.
Paragraph 2, Young Hawk. This one?
Company loyalist.
This paragraph, isn't it?
No, company loyalist. 135.
135. You mean the according to the page of the
Module,
module, all right? Oh, company loyalist, this one. All right, the terms, right? Company loyalist. Which paragraph? Second paragraph, right?
Yeah.
A
People.
person who is company loyalist represent kind of ideal state of professional contentment in a group. All right. Okay. All right. Back to the basic. If you understand the statement just now, for any kind of working areas, working elements you are, of course, professional must be the first thing in conducting or in representing the task, right? So that should not be the issue, whether you are the for any kind of level or type of works you are. So, of course, going back to the statement just now, a person who is company loyalist, this is the terms, yeah? Okay, a person who is company loyalist do not represent a kind of ideal state of professional contentment in a group. But of course, every or any type of stage or level of working at a company, then you need to present an ideal state of professional contentment. So that's why you group this under the bold statement. Okay, so now, just now we have company loyalists. Now we continue with cynic. What is cynic? Anyone? The signing of the group often has a contemptuous distrust of the company and believe that CR is a way the company uses to falsely motivate workers. For this kind of statement, you also can find this from a specific page of the chapter. But first, what is signing? Anyone would like to explain? Anyone? Hello? I think everyone is checking the pages of the chapter right now. Maybe. But even though you find some statement according to the certain character or certain types, yeah, this certain professional consciousness state. Like just now it's about company loyalists, and now we are focusing on signing. But please, yeah, still read about the old buffalo, young hawk, and burnout. Right? They're still important to be covered, especially to prepare you for the quiz. Yeah. All right, signing. As you can refer at page 136, yeah, of the module 136. All right. What is your answer according to the statement just now? It's quite direct according to the statement. Whether you find it or no, that's the thing. Cynic is a person who has a cynical state of consciousness in the group, has a contemptuous distrust of the company. It's very clear one. So what's your answer?
True, madam.
True, right? You can look, continue the statement here. The groups CR and rally talk are seen as merely one more way to motivate workers falsely. But this one might be, as you're focusing on signing, a person who has cynical state of consciousness in the group has a contemptuous distrust of the company. Signing does not want to be part of symbolic we and would prefer to be independent of all group and organizational influence. So if people say we know that is a group. It's a group. It represents the group when we mention we. But in this case, a signing does not want to be part of a symbolic we. So what you understand from this statement? The signing of the group often has a contemptuous distrust of the company and believe that consciousness raised talk is a way the company uses to falsely motivate workers. And just now, who respond to the statement? Who's speaking just now? Who's speaking just now? Giving the answer or the statement as true. Anyone with different answer in case. Hello, who's speaking just now? Can everyone hear me? Shafi, is that Shafi? Thanks, Amir. Shafi?
Yes, madam.
Okay, so you give the answer as true just now, right?
Yep.
Okay. So why you choose true, Shafi, according to the statement? It's actually quite direct, yeah? I mean, all statement is actually quite direct. You can find from the module.
Yep. It's quite directly from the module.
Okay.
Sorry,
So-
madam. Just now I'm lagging.
Okay, it's okay, Shafi. Right, continue with, please explain the difference between burnout, young hog, and old buffalo. Just now we cover about the signing, as well as the company loyalists. Now the question asks you to do the comparison between burnout, young hog, and old buffalo. It's about the character, right? It's about the character or attitude of the persons in the company. So anyone would like to try or would like to explain what is burnout? Just from your understanding, all right? You don't need to read from the module, but just from your understanding, you can explain in a simple word, a simple explanation, as long as people can understand what is burnout. You don't need to do comparison. Just explain what is burnout, or you can choose to explain about young hog or old buffalo. One of the list.
Madam,
Yes.
from my opinion, I think that burnout is like tired lah. Like no more energy like that. Feel right?
Okay, so in this case, according to the meaning of the term used, burnout, right? Of course, it gives you some idea on how to describe the attitude or describe the behavior of the person under this category, burnout. Right. If you refer to this part at page 135, yes, still at page 34, sorry. Burnout. A burnout has no professional consciousness. That's the thing, that's the basics about burnout. It has been burned out of him or her in movies and novels. This person sometimes is portrayed as an employee who had fought the good fight at one time but is no longer capable of rallying any professional pride to do the job. He or she is just putting in his or her time until retirement. There might be some contribution from this kind of person, but it only happened for once. After that, that's all. That's all. I don't want to contribute much. That's all. So I might be a passive group members, just to be agree, disagree, that's all. I might not contribute much for that. For burn out, yes, the term itself can give you some idea, or you can figure out in general according to the term used. But still, yeah, make sure that you go back to the descriptions of the attitude or this type of attitude to understand better or to understand clearly. Right, thank you. Just now, our friend. And how about young hog? If burnout, it gives you some idea, but young hog, you might need to read a bit, yeah, but that anyone would like to try. Just make it fast because we are almost now 9:46 already.
Madam,
Yes.
can I try?
Yes, sure.
Yang Hawk is basically a highly conscious group member who quick to act and will work longer hour.
Okay, for young hawk, right?
Yes.
This one, according to page 130, 35, right? Too big, too large, right? A young hawk is known not by his or her chronological age, right? Meaning to say that it's not according to the seniority of the experience of his work, but by his or her consciousness. We personally know young hawk professors in their 16s and 17s. A young hawk is a highly consciousness race group member. This is the statement that you can use to describe young hawk clearly. A young hawk is highly consciousness race group members, right? Let's say if there's a question, ask you to describe young hawk, then you can use this statement, right? Because this clearly represent young hawk attitude behavior. A young hawk is highly consciousness race group member. Of course, young hawk is different with burnout just now because burnout has no professional consciousness. So, but things will be different to the young hawk, right? You can read for the rest. But now, just for the general understanding, you can be highlighted. You can understand that a young hawk is highly consciousness race. Remember, okay? Thank you for Amir Ashraf just now. And how about Old Buffalo? Anyone would like to try? Anyone would like to try? Hello, anyone? Okay, I make it faster. 135 still for the Old Buffalo. Old Buffaloes provide stability to the consciousness of the group. So, I mean, by referring to the statement, the first statement, right? Now you can do the comparison, the difference between burnout, young hawk, and old buffalo. If the burnout is a member that has no professional consciousness, this differed with young hawk, where the person is a highly consciousness race group member. While at the same time, for the old buffalo, this kind of person will provide stability to the consciousness of the group, support the young hawk, right? So you can read the rest later, but that's the main thing about the old buffalo. You can find certain term or certain explanation that can make you clear with the term highlighted here. All right. Well, for the company loyalists and the cynic, we have discussed just now according to the previous statement. Right, everyone? Hopefully you can see, you understand these 5 types of or 5 style of persons in the group discussion process or in a company, for example, workers in a company. And last question, please list all the dysfunctional group behavior that person of a negative predisposition most frequently display. So you might refer this as the point. Communication skill, in terms of egocentric behavior, in terms of the element of non-participation, interruptions, and so on. This is according to this item. Right, but this is considered as an additional info. All right, so everyone, that is all about chapter 7 that you need to focus, especially this one, yeah, especially this item, the differences in professional consciousness states according to the five um 5 types: burnout, young hawk, old buffalo, company loyalist, and cynic. And please continue your reading in terms of the group things, inshallah. By week 14 on Sunday class, I will explain to you, or we will discuss about chapter 8, and for some of the chapter 8, it will relate with the subtopic of chapter 7, which means that inshallah we try to complete our discussion with all of the chapters from the module so that you'll be able to focus to your quiz.